So I was having a nice sleep in this morning, and then I hear the door open to the front door, and then Vash walks in, and he says,
Migs Burgers!
and I jump out of bed, and I run over to the stream, and notice that one of our viewers had said, burgers for breakfast!
I mean, I was gonna like whisper to the stream, shh, don't tell her. And all of a sudden you hear,
They know how to wake me up. What are we talking about today, Vash?
Okay, so today we're talking about the new bow that just came out. This thing is the Knightfire bow. I'm sure that a lot of people have a lot of different things to say about this this weapon, but guess what, guys? I found a way to make it fun. And I found a way that Migs loves it.
Can I be your superhero?
So what's this bow all about? What's the passive? What's unique about this weapon?
Alright, so the passive on this weapon is, on hitting an enemy with this weapon, regenerate 5.5% of the damage dealt as shields. So essentially, the more damage you do, the more shields you regenerate. Simple. The Knightfire bow is honestly kind of a garbage bow. This thing is a shield regenerating bow, just like with all the other medieval weapons, which on a bow is stupid, because when was the last time you died when using a sniper rifle or a bow?
No, you don't die.
No.
Sniping from far away.
No, you don't die when you're using a sniper rifle. That's absolutely ridiculous. Why on earth would you need to regenerate shields? That's stupid. So, we built a brawler build. The way that you can make this actually a successful, fun build is to play into its strengths. If you have a bow that regenerates shields, then what's the advantage? In what situation could you use this where you need shields? Simply, people with bad aim. Like Migs. So anyway, or just people that want to get in close. If you ever want to play a combat bow specialist, well, man, have I got the build for you. This thing actually is completely ridiculous if you utilize this build properly. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing, and you guys are going to love this loadout. Okay, so when you're playing with a Knightfire bow, essentially what you want to do is just crash the enemies. You're going to be using a Stoneheart Farah as your commander. This is going to give you the ability to actually hit entire crowds of enemies, wiping out everyone, completely devastating waves of enemies. So a really effective way is to get right in their face, force them to come right at you, that way you can't miss, and then you smash them, and you'll see chunks of lines, like lines of enemies just folding over, like waves crashing against the beach, just whoosh, dead, like just waves and waves of death. This thing is nasty, as with all bows. If you hit someone with full power, this thing's going to crush everything in its path. So the key is to get right in their face so you can't miss, so every shot is devastating, and then anytime that you get hit by melee or archers or whatever's hitting you, you'll completely negate that effect with the enormous amount of shield regeneration that you're going to get with this weapon. It is crazy.
Could you go through some of the weapon statistics and how it looks like against other bows?
Alright, so just to give you guys an idea of how this stacks up against the other bows, the Knightfire bow compared to, say, the Love Song. Now keep in mind that I built these a little bit differently. So with the Knightfire bow, I decided to go slightly different than I would with my other bow builds. I wanted this to be more consistent. I'm looking for a more consistent damage output. Therefore, I decided to build this with double crit rate. So it's going to have higher crit rate and lower damage than the other bows. But this is still going to give you a very good idea of how it stacks up compared to the other ones. These are all Sunbeam, every single one of them. And as you can see, the DPS is pretty much the same. The damage is the same. It's very similar, except that this one has a higher crit chance. So this one is, Knightfire is just, better offensively than the Love Song. Now compared to the Scrap Shot actually does more damage, more headshot damage. It is just a better offensive bow overall, better DPS. compared to the Instigator. The Instigator's a little bit stronger overall, but again, doesn't have as high a crit chance. But all of these bows are honestly really similar. Every single bow in the game, excluding the AOE bows, which is the boom bow and the compression bow, the cloud burst, they're all pretty much the same. The only exception to that is, of course, the black metal bow. The black metal bow, it looks the same until you take into consideration the 80% damage bonus that you can get for being injured, which was why the Night Owl is the best bow in the game. It's just not even close. That thing is just crazy town. The other one that is really, really noteworthy is the Vindertech. Vindertech does just ludicrous. Like, look at the damage on that. The headshot damage on the Vindertech is just completely unlike any other weapon in the game. This is the only one that even stacks up remotely close to the black metal bow. Other than that, all the bows are relatively similar. Vacuum 2 is a little stronger. Vindertech's a lot stronger. And then the black metal is the king. So this one runs in the high medium range to which of the bows actually are the most effective.
It's time. What are the perks?
Okay, so the perks. The perks that I decided to go with on this bow are different than the bows that I've built in the past, mostly because I needed to build this weapon differently than other bows in order to make this viable, effective, and fun. So I decided to build it with a consistent double crit rate, which boosts it over 50%. So half your shots are going to crit. So it's very consistent. You're going to get a lot of critical hit damage boosts all the time. I went with a crit rate, double crit damage, double crit rate, double crit damage. Actually, just like I build my Defender Obliterators, and I went with energy, exactly like the Actually, this is the same build as my Obliterator Defender build. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It's the exact same identical build, double crit rate, double crit damage with energy, and that makes it, it just gives it a level of consistency that is beyond beyond the 1/3. So you're not hoping for that big crit, you're just hitting tons of big crits instead of getting the giant mega crit.
Now, figuring out what heroes we wanted to do was a little bit trickier. Vash is very much loves to use Blast from the Past, and I was like, hey Vash, what team perk are we using? He's like, obviously Blast from the Past. I'm like, obviously not. So what is the hero loadout?
yeah, make fun of me. Whatever. You know what? I forgot. As soon as I went to build a bow build, I'm like, oh, well, Blast from the Past is the best. Oh, damn it, there's no shields. Well, freak sakes. Fine, that's fine. We got a solution for you. Preemptive Strike. Okay, so if you can't use Blast from the Past, you're going to be missing out on a lot of damage and a lot of survivability. So to fix this, I decided to go with Preemptive Strike, which gives you 6.5% times 5 bonus damage against full health enemies. So it gives you 6.5% per high level hero. So if you have at least 4 stars or better, you're going to get, credit for this ability. So yeah, it hits really hard, man. Really hard. Preemptive Strike is crazy damage as long as you are going for one-shot kills, right? Full health enemies, hit them, just absolutely nuke them into the ground. That's what this is for. That's what it does. And boy, does it work good with a loadout like this. Now, we went with Cupid's arrow. That is Stoneheart Pharaoh. This makes your arrows splinter and hit 5 targets for 60% of the total damage. So that means this becomes a crowd decimating murder machine. This makes bows viable. Any single target bow is not a viable bow unless you're using this character. And man, this is amazing. So check this out. Here we go. In a pinch, shield regeneration. That's right. So we have a bow that regenerates shields. We combo this with a hero that regenerates shields. Every time you reload an empty magazine, which is every shot, right? You only have one shot in the mag, meaning every time you release the bow from your hand, this thing's going to regenerate 13.5% of your shield over 3 seconds. Awesome. So now you're getting your shield regeneration from your weapon, combined with the shield regeneration from this character, combined with Survivalist regenerating any health damage that you might have taken beyond your shield barrier. So if you get hit really hard, you get a chunk of your health down, you then completely annihilate a wave of enemies with your multi-shot, your shields will go boom, really just huge, a massive explosion of shields, and your health will start catching back up and filling back up until you're full. Realistically, the survivability of this bow plus in a pinch plus survivalist together makes this one of the most unstoppable survival characters that I've ever built. It is actually amazing. The only real weakness that this character has is barrages of gunslingers. Watch out, man. Those guys can catch you off guard. They don't miss. And if you don't see them coming, especially if you have a lot of gas or bees or things blocking your vision and distracting you and making it hard to focus, the gunslingers are the one weakness to this build because you are susceptible to burst. If they hit you hard enough, you don't have enough health and shields to take the massive burst hit. But if you survive, you're golden because you'll regenerate all your shields instantly and survivalists will immediately start cranking out health. The rest is just basic. Quick scope for sniper damage, sure shot for sniper critical damage, and we actually went with plasma arc for extra splash damage. 20% chance that your energy damage is going to splinter and hit all nearby enemies for 58% of the damage dealt, which is just splash, 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 survival, survival, survival. Everything about this build just screams kill everything and heal everything. It's the ultimate AoE survival build. You can go right at melee range and just absolutely murder the world.
So, overall, do you like this weapon? Will you use it, or is it just a once-off thing for you?
Honestly, I would totally use this weapon multiple times. This is one of those weapons that as a streamer, I'm going to have a blast because this is a viable high-level weapon. You just need to play it not like you would play other bows. You got to really play into its strengths and make it worthwhile. Otherwise, it is not as strong as any of the other bows at all.
Before we went into the game, you were like, "This is trash. This is garbage." What changed your mind exactly?
You forced me to find a build that this works on.
Forced you.
You forced. My initial reaction was, "This sucks. What a piece of. Who needs shield regeneration on a bow? What a turd. This thing is garbage." But she forced me to innovate something that would make sense, right? To make sense, to make it fun, right? Because a lot of this is supposed to be fun. The game's supposed to be fun, and we're supposed to be finding innovative ways to use weapons to have fun. So she forced me to think outside the box and actually come up with a loadout where it is actually late game viable, but also an absolute blast to play. So she really made me change my own mind.
It's the power of being a woman.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
See you guys next time.
Catch you later, guys.